Hi, and welcome to JJ's Productions. We're doing another Stoke City Vlogcast. With me as always is Jan. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thanks. Hi folks, hope you're all having a good weekend, apart from yesterday. Sorry.
Yeah, we're back to same old it seems. You know, we've had 2 wins on the bounce, everyone's getting optimistic, and then Stoke, and they decide, nah, let's just bring everyone back down to earth a little bit.
No, it wasn't Stoke's fault, sorry.
Yeah,
International break.
Oh, you're blaming the international break, are you, right?
Blaming the international break. We were just getting on our feet and starting to play well. Wham! International break, starting from rock bottom again.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Gary Rowett and Roger East had both been on the jollies during the international break, I'll go along with that line of thinking, but I think both of them have got a bit of answering to do, so...
Especially Roger East.
Yeah, we'll get into it, because we are going to just do a little dissection of what seemed to happen, but yeah, it's been a very disappointing 12 to 18 hours since the game, and yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to the Sheffield United game now, just for a chance to get away from a bad result.
Redeem ourselves.
Yeah, the worst bit about yesterday for me personally is that we were listening to the game together, and there was a point around the 75 to 80 minute mark where I just said to Mum, we aren't going to score today now, are we? You just know that come the final 10 minutes at 0-0, it's just not going to happen. So at that point you're just hoping that we keep a clean sheet. And lo and behold, we go and concede a goal.
Well, all I can think is they went all blasé and thought, oh, we've got a draw here. Just carry on as we are. Wham, goal.
I'm going to say, and again, another thing that I have been hearing, because again, we have to say it, we don't go to the matches right now, we intend to at some point, but one of the things that I've heard as a common talking point, shall we call it, is the introduction of Charlie Adam. Now, you've got those who completely disagree with him being at the club, saying that he shouldn't be coming on just because he passes the ball forward. And equally, you've got people who are saying, well, when he came on, the players did actually respond to him. So, I'm curious where you stand from someone who hasn't heard all these conversations.
Well, when I saw Charlie come on, I thought, hey, up, here we go. 77. I'll give him till 77 minutes before he gets booked.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I mean, I think he did well yesterday. He didn't get booked, so we'll give him a little bit of praise for that one.
Yes.
As far as I know as well, he didn't take a shot from the halfway line, so he ruined me bingo score. But, yeah, I think he's a definite talking point in the sense that, has he got a use for us?
I think he has, in a way, the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'd
or
agree with
even
that.
the last 10. But I can't see him playing from the start. Well, I wouldn't like to see him play from the start.
I mean, I'm going to shout someone out here on Twitter. I think his Twitter handle is @RobinTunstall, and I think he wanted Charlie Adam to start more because he thinks he's got a role to play from the beginning. Now, I did shoot that down immediately, and I just want to say sorry if I did come across a little harsh over that. Yeah, it is a strong opinion I have that him and Crouch in particular, they shouldn't be starting games. I'll include Fletcher in that bracket as well.
Agree.
You know, there are certain players who I think can still play a part, whether it's seeing how to win or a draw or coming on to try and rescue a game. But equally, they shouldn't be starting games because they can actually cause more problems than solve.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday, I'm sorry, was Crouch on the bench yesterday?
Yeah, he came on for the final 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, you know, I would have brought him on 20 minutes before the end and just see if he could knock one in.
I think another criticism I've heard of Rowett, which is why I did say it was him and East, is that we saw that the game was sort of meandering, which I think even without paying too much close attention like people at the game, we could tell it was as well. And I think the criticism Rowett's received is that he didn't make changes until it was too late, in the sense that Crouch came on but it's for Afobe. You've got Berahino coming on for McClean, who by all accounts didn't have a good game, and again Adam for Bojan. So you're looking at it, you're thinking, it's alright saying that he hasn't got the players he wants, but he's got to use the players he's got better than he is using them. And
definitely.
Right now I'm seeing Bojan coming off and thinking, even if Bo's having a bad game, surely it's worth bringing Adam on for, say, Allen or Woods, who by all accounts had his worst game for the club so far. And you're looking at it and you're thinking, why not just try and keep the creative players on the pitch and take off maybe the more neat and tidy players? Because by all accounts, Birmingham, they were just happy to soak up pressure. So I think having someone like Bojan on would have just been an extra presence for them to keep a watch out for.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't agree with it at all that Adam come on. I would have much rather seen Bojan stay on with Crouch.
Yeah, I mean, them two have done well in the past together, so there's no reason to suggest they wouldn't have done this time.
Yeah. I think you've just got to throw all avenues at it.
I can't help but wonder sometimes if Rowett is afraid to go all out attack. I mean, it irritates me that, yes, we lost Peter Etebo to injury in the international break, even if it's only a one-game injury. But what I don't get is why we didn't start out with the Bolton team, with Berahino just behind Afobe. We've got Ince just around that area as well. Instead, we felt it's like McClean was sort of forced into the team in the sense that he did okay at Norwich, but by all accounts he wasn't a world beater. So it's like we sort of felt the need to stay with that 11, but because of Etebo's injury, Bojan came in. And for me, that's the wrong attitude. We should have really gone back to the Bolton game, because this was going to be a game where we had a team who weren't going to attack us.
I can't understand any manager changing a winning team, to be honest.
I mean, this is the thing. There's an argument that he changed a winning team from Bolton to Norwich, but the thing is, I'd argue they were two different games. My argument is more along the lines of he's treating the lineup as if it's one specific lineup instead of maybe just adapting it for certain games, which right now he's not showing me can do that, which concerns me.
It is a concern because, as I say, we just aren't having the continuous wins or draws even. We're just losing.
I mean, the mad thing is, we are only 9 points off the top of the table, and I know that is still a long way to go, but we've got games this week on this run of fixtures against Sheffield United, which we're going to come on to in a minute. Then we've got Bristol City away, and then, if I'm right, we've got Middlesbrough at home. I think it's at home. I don't think we've got them away until April, so...
I've only got up to the 27th sorry.
Okay, so like I say, we have got a nice run of fixtures in a sense. In that, yes, they're all going to be difficult, but I would actually argue Stoke thrive more when the games are tough, in the sense that if you've got a team like a Birmingham or a Blackburn who are going to come to the Brit or the Bet365 and sit back, soak up pressure and try and hit us on the break, we're not as capable of defending that, whereas if we're going to another place, we can actually do that to other teams. That is the hope anyway.
I wonder if their mindset is, well, we beat United, beat Chelsea, beat Arsenal.
I mean, I'd really hope that isn't the case, because there's a lot of players who didn't do that.
Yeah, but are they sort of thinking, we were Premiership, and we can take it easy against this lot?
It makes me wonder if there are certain players like that, like Joe Allen, for instance, because again, yesterday he had a very ineffectual game by all accounts. I mean, but on the other hand, so did Ryan Woods. And Ryan Woods, by all accounts, was at times playing deeper than his two centre-halves, trying to pick up the ball. And you're looking at that, and I've got images of Wayne Rooney and Sam Allardyce's only game for England. I remember Rooney dropping that deep and thinking, what are you doing? And I think there needs to be a rule in football that if your centre-halves notice that your midfielder's gone behind them, they've got to really tell him, get forward. Because it doesn't matter what team you're playing for, that is just bad.
Well, let's come to the penalty. That should have been.
Roger East, I think you need glasses. Or at least you need better contacts.
You certainly didn't go Specsavers.
Okay, but like I say, I just don't get that one. I mean, you've seen screenshots online if you haven't already, and there was at least two handballs in there.
It was blatantly obvious that they were handball.
And by all accounts, Peter Crouch could have had a penalty in a similar instance. And I think there was some in the first half as well, so East was just not willing to give anything.
Who we know from the Premiership.
Yeah, so it's quite concerning that a Premier League referee is making errors like that.
Why is he in the Championship?
Well, that I couldn't answer off the top of my head.
But that's where I'm questioning in my head. Why has he come down to the Championship when he was a Premiership?
Well, the thing is, the general rule is that Premier League referees there should be enough of them that every now and again one will drop into the Championship to do a match. But from what I've heard, there aren't a full complement of Premier League referees at the moment. They're quite stretched thin. So it does surprise me that he's in the Championship. I can only assume that they had enough this weekend and they want to give him a game. But it could be that he's been relegated down here to the Championship because of an error or something that he made in the Premiership game, which does concern me again because I think, does that mean we're a guinea pig?
He'll be refereeing Hanley Town next week if he doesn't watch out.
Not Vale then.
No, Hanley Town. I'm really relegating him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But yes, I think if we had been awarded that penalty for the handball, I think things would have, well, obviously they would have been a lot different. And if Crouch had won his penalty.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I'd completely agree that there were circumstances, but I'd also argue there were circumstances last season during our relegation. So I made excuses at that point, and I'll be honest, it sort of proved at the time that even though we were making those, we were having luck going against us, it still wouldn't have had an impact because we didn't do enough on our own to stay up.
Yeah.
And I think the same has got to be said now, unfortunately, even though I am contradicting what I've said in the past, which is, yes, the luck has gone against us, but equally we haven't done enough on the pitch.
No, we haven't.
So,
no, we've been dire sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like your comments, actually, folks, who went to the match, and see what your version of the handball appeal was, and also Crouch's non-penalty.
Yeah, because we're always trying to find opinions, because we're not actually going to the matches. We do like to hear what other people have got to say, especially when you go to the match, because you always have a first-hand view. So if you do have an opinion, leave it in the comments section. But from there, we're going to move on to Sheffield United, and you've got your stats ready as usual?
Yes, I have, and what good stats they are too, I've got to say. They've won 8, they've lost 4, and they've drawn 1. 1-8.
It's
That's
impressive.
Incredible. And they're currently in second position on 25 points. We are currently in 17th, and we're on 16 points. Okay, it's 9 points, as Josh has made out, told you. But that is a lot of catching up to, really.
It's definitely a lot of catching up to do. I mean,
not only that, but all the other teams have got to lose.
Yeah, there's definitely a long way to go if we were to try and catch them up that way. The only thing I can sort of take comfort from is the fact that Sheffield United, for instance, they did drop off a bit last season, so there's still a chance it could happen again this year.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking to myself, I think it's West Brom at the top of the table at the moment. I could be mistaken. So they're probably going to stay up there. I think that would be surprised now if they dropped off. So you're looking at some of the others around the area now, like Leeds, Middlesbrough. Oh no, I think it might be Middlesbrough top of the table. There we go. So Tony Pulis, he could probably keep them at the top, to be fair. So really, we've got a tough job on our hands to get to the top 2.
Yeah.
But it isn't impossible. That's my point of view.
Yeah. But
sorry, I've got to say though, equally, I have been saying on Twitter, I do believe this season is a bit of a write-off, in the sense that if we get into the top 6, good, not complaining. But equally, I do believe we should consider this a building season rather than the actual big push we're going to go for promotion.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the team honestly thought that they were going to sit on the top 3 all season.
I can believe that Joe Allen in particular did, just based on his comments before the Leeds game. I think he came across a little bit cocky in the sense that he was saying, well, we've got to show we're title challengers, and I think, well, really, you've got to show that you aren't a relegated Premier League club first.
Which is what they're
they've all
proving at the minute.
Yeah, they're not exactly doing themselves any credit, and I think Joe is the one who needs to have a little bit of a mental recheck.
Yeah. I mean, at the minute, they aren't playing well enough to be in the top 3.
No.
And I hate saying about that, about my beloved Stoke. I'm as positive as anything about Stoke. But at the moment, I've just got to face reality that we aren't playing good. and I can't see us getting in the top 3.
I mean, the trouble is, I agree with what you've said, 9 points is a big gap because, as I've said, suppose we could actually do a surprise in this actual week and get wins against both Sheffield United and Bristol City. One, you've got to hope that the top teams drop points, but also you've also got to hope that even if they only drop, say, 1 to the 3 we've gained, you've got to hope that eventually we can keep gaining results. And to be honest, we aren't on that sort of team yet where we can go from 2 games to 3 games, 4-game runs.
No.
We're lucky if we get 2 games together.
I mean, we did have 2 together, didn't we?
Yeah, we just beat
Bolton and Norwich. And I thought, hey up, we're on to a winner here.
It just shows we jump to conclusions every now and again.
But international break, folks, that's all I'm saying. End the subject on international breaks. So, now their top scorer is Sharp, and he's on 6 goals.
I've got to admit, I really like Billy Sharp.
Yeah.
He's someone who, I remember when he was at Southampton and they were in the Premier League, and I really wondered why he never got a shot there, because I know they got Ricky Lambert at the time, and I think they just signed Jay Rodriguez as well. But I feel like he was ostracised straight away, and I think he went out on loan to Reading or somewhere, and I can't help but look at him and think, why didn't you keep him around? You know, he might not be, say, as prolific as he is in the Championship, but he would have got them goals. And then you see down the years he's gone to Sheffield United when they were in League One, and you're thinking, that is a fall from grace for him, and I'm so glad for him that he's actually come back up. Not, you know, because I can understand that maybe he thought, right, I'll be the big fish in the small pond in League One, but really, he could have been a bigger fish in a bigger pond. You know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Sheffield United here, because it was a coup getting him back, but it was just one of those where I think a lot of managers really did underrate him, and I don't know why.
Well, he's certainly playing up to his name at the minute. He's very sharp at the minute, in his scoring ability. So he's one that we've got to watch out for, and they have got to double mark him.
Well, the way I see it is we can't really double mark him because there's going to be a strike partner most likely in Dave McGoldrick.
Well, yeah, because he's scored a few as well, to be honest.
It really strikes me as a little and large partnership, not necessarily in size, but the way I view them is that Sharp is maybe the pacier one compared to McGoldrick's bustier but stronger one, you know. And I think it's going to be a real handful because against Birmingham, Williams and Martin Zindi, they didn't seem to cope well with Jukovic and Che Adams. So I'm concerned that we could have a repeat on our hands against a better side. Yeah.
Well, we've just got to keep our fingers crossed and hope that they come out and go in for the win and not just fall back and think a draw will do.
I mean, out of all the things you can say about Stoke this season, I don't think they've actually been defensive from the off. You know, I think the problems have been more along the lines of not knowing how to attack. You know, it's like they've been very clueless. You know, Joe Allen keeps getting criticised for being a headless chicken, and I think at times that just sums up our approach to attacking in games.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, if we go into a game against a Sheffield United and we're clueless in attack, then we have got to really hope the defence is on the game, which they haven't been lately.
Yeah.
You know, I know that we kept 2 clean sheets, but in general it's been iffy, shall we call it. So I really hope we can score goals in this game because I don't believe the defence will keep the Sheffield United attack out.
I mean, I think Berahino and Afobe, if they play them two and start that partnership again, I think we've got a good chance. But knowing Rowett, he's going to come up with some ridiculous team.
My concern is that we're going to try and go back to the Norwich blueprint. Now, in one hand, I won't complain if that happens because if Etobo's fit, you know, like it was just a 1-game injury, we don't know yet. If it's just for the 1 game he was out, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back in for Bojan and the rest is unchanged. And for me personally, I'm not convinced that's right because, yes, I know Bojan didn't have a great game against Birmingham, but neither did McClean. Afobe seemed very isolated. So for me, it'd be worth trying that Bolton team out again, where you've got Bojan, Ince, Berahino and Afobe on the same pitch.
Yeah.
Just because how we're playing right now, I think it's better to try and go all out attack and hope that we can take the pressure off the defence than maybe trying to play it cagey and risking them scoring, and then we've got to chase the game, you know.
I'm fed up of them having to chase games all the time.
Yeah.
And they aren't chasers, Stoke aren't.
I mean, I think this is where the Norwich game was a bit misleading, in the sense that we got a goal, well, an own goal go for us, but what happened really is that we didn't seem to create much. Norwich were the better team, and we just defended well. Now, if that were to happen again against Sheffield United, I wouldn't complain, because I admire defensive performances. You know, I was raised on Tony Pulis football, so for me, seeing a defensive masterclass is as good as, say, 5-6 goals like we did against Liverpool those years ago. But equally, I think to myself, I don't want to rely on that type of performance, because you don't know if you're going to get it. So I would rather try to attack than what I fear we're going to do.
I'd forget about the 6 goals, love.
Yeah, that is a lifetime ago now.
We don't play the blind school, unfortunately.
I was going to say, actually, sorry, I've got to bring this up. Someone on Twitter did actually talk about the Stoke-Birmingham game and said, how is it that Sky Bet haven't got odds on 7-0 win for Stoke? And I couldn't help but think to myself, Sky, if they got their head on, should have actually said, go on, we'll give you a free bet if you honestly think you'll win it. But, sorry, that was a complete side note. I thought, well, you never know, Birmingham could have turned into a bunch of headless chickens overnight.
Yes, dear, yes.
Well, I'm going to say, I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, but we're getting close to the end of the vlog now. We've got about 5 minutes left, so let's just talk about predictions. What are you thinking in terms of this game?
Well, I've got to go with Stoke, obviously. And I'm going to go for 2-1. Well, 1-2.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that we score both and they get one back.
Okay, so
that's what I'm hoping.
So you're going for a 2-0 that turns into a 2-1?
Yes.
Okay. Well, last time for the Birmingham one, I went 3-0. And yeah, that was a bit laughable, you know, so I'm actually a bit torn about which way to go for this, because I would like to think we're going to win. But I'm also aware that the last time I went for a win, we didn't get close to it. So I think I'm just going to hope for a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1. And I'm going to hope that we actually get the opening goal, even if it means we concede a goal. Just for the fact that I think this is something that Stoke have got to get in the habit of, scoring the first goal.
Yeah. I think Ince is going to score our first goal.
Yeah, someone actually said that on Twitter yesterday, that when Ince doesn't turn up, we don't turn up.
Yeah.
And I've got to agree, I was quite critical of him after the opening games as well. I think it was Duck Magazine who actually spoke about it. And I've got to agree with what they said. You know, after a tough start for him, I think since he returned from that injury, he's actually been better.
He's a little motivator, really, isn't he?
Yeah, I think if anything, he's willing to take shots.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll admit, I don't like it, you know, the selfish element of it, but I'd rather someone taking shots and creating chances to sort of force a team back.
The thing is, if you take a shot from out of the box, say, the goalkeeper may not be able to save it and punch out a bit straight onto a volley.
Yeah, so there's always chances that can be created from chances outside the box, or creating chances from outside the box.
I've got it all in my head, what they can do.
I was going to say, nip down to Clayton Wood, go tell Gary Rowett, I'm sure he'll appreciate it. I was saying last night, I think he'll be at home having a bottle of red wine, you know, that's what he said on Radio Stoke he likes to drink, and he'd probably be drowning his sorrows after the last couple of games, and I think we're all joining him. You know, I mean, well, not last couple of games, but the last game. But
I did join him.
Yeah, I'm going to say,
night.
I think we're just waiting for everything to show it's clicking, because we seemed there after the last 2 games, and then this one just threw a spanner in the works, didn't it?
Knocked the stuffing out of us again, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And again, folks, it's you as fans that I feel sorry for going away and a home matches. We've done it ourselves apart from this season, and I know what it's like to come back, you know, on the bus down to the, you know, Stoke or wherever you're going, and you're deflated.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're going away as well, which is, you know, even worse coming back. The atmosphere on the coaches is dire. And, you know, there's no banter, there's no nothing, because you've had the stuffing knocked out of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of grateful actually that for the last game we got a good attendance, even though the result was bad. I think that was the one positive, that we got people turning up. And the trouble is, I'm just concerned now that for the next home game we won't get a similar attendance, just because people will go, we'll lose again, we'll just do it again.
Yeah.
So I just hope that something can happen at United and Bristol City just to bring fans back for the next home game.
Yeah. Yes, I do myself, and good on all of you for going.
So that's it for this week. Well, for this episode at least. We'll be back for the next episode as always. But until then, this has been Josh. This has been Jan as well.
Yep, cheerio folks. Have a good week, and I'll be thinking about you all at Sheffield.
Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.